Alrighty. So I've decided to kind of give my first impressions of the game. I'm only, I believe, sequence 3 mission as an assassin, and now just doing some exploring around Paris, but just kind of wanted to give an overview of the impression this game's left on me at first. And honestly, it's actually pretty nice how they've handled skills, for example, where now it's you earn little creed points, assassin points, whatever the hell they're called, and you unlock your different abilities that way, such as the double assassination, for example, is not just automatically given to everybody. You have to earn it, spend the points. That is assuming you want like an assassin character to be stealthy for your playstyle, or you can go into health, and I personally did that because I'll bring that up later, but you can upgrade your health, your efficiency with ranged weapons, melee, like I showed earlier, So that's pretty nice that they added that, because it gives you a good sense of progression. Like, you actually have to earn your shit, not just as soon as you're an assassin, you're like automatically this badass killer. Because that's one thing I did not like about some of the earlier games in this series. Gear loadout, it's much the same. You have to earn your weapons by purchasing them, and there's quite a few different ones. Instead of it just being, standard, all of these swords are better, and there's only like 6 to choose from. No, there's quite a few different ones that are better at like parry or range and everything, and of course the more expensive ones are going to be a little bit more expensive, but this badass looking shiny katana you can get as well. You can either purchase them using the in-game currency or these hack points, or like helix points or something like that you use to hack for a cheaper price into the Animus, so that you can use them a little bit earlier. The only downside to that is, other than earning them using random, say, how do I put it, like creed points, for example, I think is what they're called. You could purchase some are purchased with creed points, some with in-game currency, some with the helix points. Helix points, I will show you, are actually, I believe you purchase them. You can purchase them. It's like a microtransaction. You like $5 will give you like 1,000 or 500 or something like that. $10 gets you a certain amount, and so on and so forth. So it's basically the cheap, easy way to get your customization done. This little trick is, instead of buying the dyes, you unlock the different colors for your assassin, but you can also, each little portion of your assassin, you can change, their different look and style. And as I'm showing you right here, there's different, the head, chest, forearms, waist, legs, and then of course the past, assassin's outfits, such as Altair, Ibn Ma'ahad, Connor, everyone, even the recent Shay Carmack Templar costume, which I have attempted to play the Assassin's Creed Initiates so that I could, put these up to show, but I guess Ubisoft's Uplay system is down for a bit, so I will not be able to do that as of now. I don't know why it's down. I haven't really looked too into it, but so that's still here as usual. Then you got legs and waist, all that other good junk. So there's a nice amount of customization, and this mixed, of course, with the different colors and such, can really, it'll be nice, because I think everyone's tired of playing the multiplayer and everyone basically looking the same. And in a game that's as multiplayer heavy as this one with the new co-op, it kind of would be nice that everyone doesn't have to look the same. Gameplay changes. Let's get into that, because I bet that's what a lot of people want to hear about. It's nice because, for example, I will show you right here, The free run, you know, the usual climbing up and everything it's been streamlined. There's new animations and stuff like that, so it doesn't quite all look the same as like every other entry. But a nice little perk that they made, and that I am like a huge fan of, you don't just have to drop. You can do downward freestyle. And it's, you know, a nice smooth transition instead of just like jumping all the time and hoping you don't fall too far. So that's always a nice little bonus in my opinion. As you can see, the lighting is fantastic. The streets feel lively. There's so many, you know, NPCs running around, and it makes it feel like, you know, actual historical Paris. It's full. There's a lot of people, and I love that. Or just random protect the civilian, you know. Be a vigilante, you know, stop this shit from happening. Or, you know, just kill everybody. You know, there's, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels more lively, I guess you could say. You know, there's more people to just kind of look at with past Assassin's Creed games, such as Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood and everything. These big cities, like, I believe Brotherhood was in Rome, Italy, and it felt barren. It didn't feel very busy, and for it being, you know, Rome, one of the biggest cities in the Roman Empire, you would expect there to be a lot of people, and it didn't feel like it. In Paris, France, in this entry, with this many NPCs running around, it feels like a bustling city. It feels like it ought to have. And with these games aiming for historical accuracy in terms of atmosphere and buildings, that I feel is important. And I feel like in Unity, they've really nailed it. And it does help that I don't see a lot of repeated character models, at least not all per one screen. Like, it feels like a pretty good variety, you know, other than, you know, these obvious guards, but, or, you know, like, even in moments like this, where, you know, these people are riding outside of the palace. It actually feels like there is a, you know, good-sized riot here. There's tons of people, and to anybody whining about, oh, wasn't this on the PS3? Do you think your freaking PS3 could process this many NPCs? And obviously none of this is, you can interact with them, shove them around. They're all moving individually. I can see why this was left, you know, for Xbox One, PC, and PS3 only, because they're not PS3, PS4. I cannot imagine the PS3 being able to process all of this. The same with the Xbox 360. It's just a lot of processing power needed, and as good as the last game was, I can't see them actually being able to run this game at all. It's just not going to happen. And, you know, just know, this is, you know, I feel Ubisoft made the right choice, you know, kind of sticking with the current gen. So, another thing that I'm really liking about this game is I always hated how it would gray out your character when you're, you know, anonymously hiding within crowds and stuff like that. I hated that. I'm sorry, but I'm buying like dyes and stuff to color my character. I don't want them to be grayed out and not see the color, especially in a game that's heavily based in stealth. I want to see the colors that I'm paying for on the costumes. So I like that they just added this little circle on the bottom, which shows how close someone can be. I don't know if you've noticed, but each NPC actually seems more like lively for the amount that there are. They seem more like doing their own thing, as if even if you were just standing here, this, you know, recreation of pre-revolutionary France is alive in a way. And that's, like I mentioned earlier, it's for a game about atmosphere, that's pretty good. And they've also kind of, the weapons have been expanded. Now it's not just your standard melee, firearm, and heavy weapons that you can occasionally get. They've broken down melee into either one-handed weapons, spears would be under, like I'm using actually, would be under long, and then they also have heavy. So instead of there just being two, they've added a third one, which would cover all your pole arms, halberds, or the spear I have, which was the pre-order bonus from GameStop, I believe, the Razorhead spear. They also, firearms have been split into two. It's no longer just any firearm acts the same, other than minor gimmicks they may have. It is a completely different style. There's, you know, your rifles, which would have all of your flintlock rifles, for example, with the bayonets and everything, and then you have your standard pistols, and I will actually just show you that. So weapons, you know, one-handed, you've got your different, you know, hammer, for example, sabers, rapiers, scimitars, officers' spears. Oh shit, that's actually pretty badass. Morning stars. I never noticed that before. You know, cutlass, war mace, katana, as I showed earlier. There's a good variety here for the one-handed. But then you also have your long-handed spears and halberds. I don't know, Biden, whatever. Biden, similar to Trident, I'm guessing, you know. Halberds. There's a good amount of weapon designs in here, and it adds for a good amount of customization. Now, heavy weapons are your basic, you know, pickaxe, long axe, regular axe, I guess. Morning stars again, I guess. Looks like a great sword right here, a claymore. Historically accurate claymore, I may add. I am tired of video games trying to portray claymores as this little tiny handle and this big ass, like Final Fantasy Cloud Strife sized buster blade. No, this is a historically accurate claymore. It is a two-handed handle and then a short but broad blade, which, you know, for a sword, that is pretty broad, you know. Now there's also, I noticed, a sword staff. That's pretty interesting. You leave it to Ubisoft to put some interesting weapons in here. Now, as I mentioned, pistols are considered their own category now. And whatever the fuck that is. 5-shot duck foot. Yeah. Pistols are their own thing now. And actually, that's pretty badass. I want that. Now, rifles have also been given their own little category, which is kind of a nice change. I haven't got to play around with it much myself yet, so I'm not entirely sure how that feature is going to work, though I do notice it says non-lethal. So I am wondering if rifles may be taking the route that firearms took in 4, in which it is meant to stun your opponents so that you could go in for a kill. Though I've noticed the flintlock pistols do not say non-lethal, so I'm wondering if these are keeping along with how pistols and firearms in general worked in Assassin's Creed 3, where it was basically you kill them just from shooting. So it's interesting that rifles are the non-lethal and pistols are apparently lethal. I'm not sure, but I'll have to get back to you guys on that once I've played around with it a bit. And story, let's get to the story. From what I've experienced so far in the story, which, as I said, I'm only at about, I want to say, either in the middle of sequence 3 or just finished. It's pretty darn good. Voice work, you know, as you would expect from an Assassin's Creed, is spot on. And I don't want to say that they sound French, they sound more British to me, but still sounds like good voice work. Now, the story seems to be more of a love tale between Arnaud and his childhood friend Elise, which, honestly, when you see them interact, they have good chemistry, and I really enjoyed seeing the cutscenes with them interacting with each other. It feels believable. Now, I can't really judge if the plot's going to be, you know, amazing or anything, but it does seem like it's a little bit more, I want to say along the lines of Assassin's Creed 2, where, you know, the son doesn't know that his father was an assassin type of thing. And that's essentially what this game's story appears to be so far, is Arno is, you know, tragedy strikes him at a young age and he had no idea his father was an assassin, and ends up finding through means, which I will not spoil, that, you know, he became an assassin in his father's footsteps. You know, your typical recent Assassin's Creed plot, basically. I believe 3, if I remember correctly, followed almost the exact same formula, where Connor discovers his father was the opposite, but still nonetheless secrets about the father, and leads him on this little adventure in becoming an assassin. And you know, there's a lot of potential, I think, here. Arno is very well voice acted, as I mentioned, like most of the cast, and he's a very enjoyable character. He's very much a smartass, basically. He definitely, you know, growing up in a very wealthy family, his father being a politician, you can tell he has a certain nobility cockiness to him. He definitely puts on a lackadaisical personality. He likes to run his mouth. He kind of always has something lighthearted or some funny remark to say about whatever situations he's in, which I personally like. I'm already really liking Arno. Arno is definitely a character I can feel a lot of people are gonna really like. He's not too like Connor. He was very, very serious about everything, and it made it kind of, the plot was too serious, whereas Arno, I can feel people are going to feel more able to connect with him because of the fact that he doesn't take everything so dead serious. But this isn't to say that he is just a non-serious character. You can't take him seriously. That's not the case at all. He is very dedicated in his mission with avenging his father and with proving his worth and righting his mistakes in his life, because as I mentioned, he's kind of a cocky guy throughout the game. In the beginning, he does display that he is a bit of he doesn't quite take things seriously. He makes a lot of really bad decisions, and throughout the first, you know, 2 sequences, it really portrays that, and then you learn about his dedication to, I want to say, like, take responsibility for his life. That feels like what this story is going to be about, is Arno kind of growing up and learning to take responsibility for his actions and what have you. Now, I just wanted to climb up here and kind of give you guys a good view of the city. I heard Ubisoft say this is going to be a smaller overall, area-wise, one of their smaller games, but as you can see, it is full. This is by no means as you've seen, it may be small area-wise, but what's in that area is so full of life and so tall. As you can see, this is pretty close to 1-by-1 scale, as they've claimed in their interviews. And as you can see, this is pretty big. With how full those streets were, I feel is more important than the overall area size, because like in Assassin's Creed 4, in it wasn't a lot of life. There was a couple hot spots like Havana or Royal, where there was quite a bit of activity. There was people running around, but other than that, there just wasn't much. When you're sailing or checking out all the smaller cities and islands, there just wasn't a lot. Whereas in this, it feels like every little alleyway, every street is so full of life, and As you can see individual NPCs still doing their own thing, and this is a gorgeous game. I mean, look at this. With all those streets being as packed as I've, kind of shown a little bit of, I'm pretty sure anyone can agree with it being as packed as it is, there is going to be no complaints, honestly, from me about the size of the game, area-wise at least. And I believe that's actually, is that Notre Dame? I believe, no, I don't think, yeah, my history on Paris is really rough, so I'm not too sure, but it looks like that might be the Cathedral Notre Dame. Anyway, so as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to sync that again, but whatever. There is the new mechanic where you can kind of scale down buildings a bit easier, which after I'm done accidentally syncing this for the second time, I will display. It makes it, I believe, I want to use the word safer to climb down things, because the one thing that always happened to me with previous Assassin's Creed games was I would accidentally drop and it would end up killing me, and that just was never fun. And it's kind of nice that they made it to where now it's pretty easy to get down from tall buildings without having to, take damage. This is, in my opinion, is a very, very welcome addition. There was not this downward parkour, free run before. And, it doesn't take that long to get down from a giant building like that. There was no, obviously, they usually have the leap of faith to get down from any, synchronization area, which I did not notice one right there. There may have been, doesn't matter, because as you saw, quick 10 seconds maybe, 15 tops, to get down from the tall building. And some more of that gorgeous lighting. But anyway, so that's a definite plus that they've added that. Combat-wise, for all of you who actually play the game series for combat, the AI is extremely aggressive, is how I should say. They don't just kind of wait around for 30 seconds and then hit you once, basically begging to be counterattacked. They will actually work as a team and try and hit you, and not just once every 30 seconds or so. They will actually be pretty aggressive. And another quick note is, I stopped myself there to display, I know in Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 you could just, it would automatically have you run through here, whereas in this one they've actually added, you can just explore, and with this game being all about exploration, that is a huge welcome. And this is not a one-of building or a rare occurrence. This is common. You can explore many, many different houses in this game. And that's just in, the 2 hours that I've played, at least. Collectibles indoors and whatnot. So this is definitely something I noticed right away, and it is definitely welcome. Now, as I was saying about the combat, far more aggressive AI, which is a welcome, because I was tired of the series being so goddamn easy. I was tired of being able to just round up as many enemies as you could and then counter all of them. You cannot do this in this one. You can, if you've really got your timing down, you could probably do it, actually. They did change counters a bit, though. Now you can't necessarily just counter everything immediately and get that satisfaction of the kill. You actually need to depending on the timing, you will attack after you have pressed the counter button. Let me see if I can get these guys to want to get in a fight with me first. There we go. There you go. They have what is called a perfect parry now. When their health glows yellow, you will counter and then be able to kill them. Now, if you don't do a perfect parry, you can still, you'll still parry their attack. but that's it. You will not parry and then counterattack them, so that you have a little bit of time there to stun them and, you know, attack. Now, another change, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my health has not automatically healed. It stayed the same as when I left earlier. They've taken out the ability to automatically regenerate your health. You actually have to have, here I will show you, medicine, and then when you consume medicine by pressing up on the D-pad, you will then restore your health. To me, that is a very, very welcome addition, because it adds a little bit of a challenge. I got tired of being able to just hide and then automatically, you know, I don't have to worry about, you know, my health being low. I like not having regenerating health. More games need to go back to that. That could just be me, you know, growing up before games started doing the automatic health regeneration and everything, but I wanted to go back to that. It's more satisfying. Now, I don't know if that's going to make a severe change later on with, you know, different difficulty challenges, but it is a welcome change in my book. Now, another change they have made with combat is obviously the animations, as they usually do. Oh shit. Dodging is, you know, same as usual. Fuck, I died. Well, that's what I get for not paying attention. But anyway, so one of the other changes they've made, other than the parry and the addition of perfect parry, is dodging is much similar to parry and perfect parry. There's your dodge, perfect dodge, whatever. The animations have been changed up, which is very nice. I mean, it gives Arno that new feeling of being himself, his own assassin, his own fighting style, which I guess, from what I've heard, I have not actually confirmed it myself, but what I've heard of, what was it? To the Assassin's Creed Rogue is that they did not give Shay Carmack his own animation. Now, whether or not that is not true, I do not know. Take that information with a grain of salt. Here's more of those crowds, which I'm just amazed at. So, sorry, but no, random events here. You can, you know, break up a fight. More than likely get in the fight yourself. These guys aren't actually doing anything about it, though. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up is they did add these cherry bombs, which is kind of like a little distraction tool you can use. You can kind of throw them out into the crowds and, you know, little fireworks to cause a distraction or attract guards and what have you, which is kind of cool. I like it. And then there's the now staple smoke bombs and a couple of, like I said, I'm not very far in the game, so I don't really have much. Other than that, I mean, that's just my first impression of this game is just, wow, I love this. I've yet to try any of the co-op missions. I will need to be doing that later tonight, though. They're kind of strewn around town, like, I noticed a couple of them. It's almost as if they're like a side quest type thing, so it's not very hard to find them. They're located on the map. You just go up to the NPC distributing the quest and then select it, and then there you go. And so I haven't tried that yet. They did seem to, like, if I could show you here, they have now added, like, your brotherhood, where you can check on all your contacts and whatnot, and it should tell you whether or not they play the Assassin's Creed series. And I've noticed what they are trying to do with this is they're trying to kind of have everyone's Assassin's Creed history all round up together. I guess it's not going to let me show you Initiates. But anyway, when you go into Initiates, it'll have your history of, other than the original Assassin's Creed game, it will have your history for Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, Liberation HD, though not the Vita version, just the HD port. Black Flag, Battle Cry is considered its own title, though strangely not the Tyranny of King Washington, but whatever. Then it's, obviously got Rogue updated, and then Unity. Now, Uplay, as I mentioned, is down, so I haven't been able to sync that myself yet. But it does, when you play the Initiates, it is supposed to unlock some costumes, such as previous Assassins. Now, that's my main reason for wanting to play Initiates. Oh shit, I almost jumped all the way down. And see, that is why I'm glad they did the down parkour, because out of habit, I tried to do a leap of faith, there was no haystack, and then it was going to have me drop to my death almost. That is why I am glad they added downward free run, because it makes it so much simpler. You don't have to accidentally kill yourself. Now, I know with the previous Assassin's Creed games, one of the problems I had with the series is it does tend to sometimes your assassin will obviously do things you didn't mean for him to do, especially in stealth sessions. Now, I've noticed this game does still have that issue, so if you had it before where occasionally you would do things you did not mean to do, you're shit out of luck. That is still going to be an issue in this game, though not game-breakingly so. I haven't personally had an issue other than one occurrence where I was still getting used to the fact that you don't automatically go into stealth. Like when you go near a wall, you actually have to hold L1 to be put into like a sneak mode, and I hadn't been used to that yet. Or was it L2? There, it's L2. I hadn't been used to that yet, so I just assumed I was going to automatically crouch. That didn't happen, and that's been my only issue so far with, accidental controls and control scheme wise. Now, let's see. The usual options, you got music, sound effects, voice, the usual stuff. I'm actually going to switch subtitles on though. So settings are all the standard with games, what you would expect. I'm going to try and get to this next mission over here to kind of give you a sample of actual gameplay story-wise, and I don't know who the hell you are or why you're picking a fight, but whatever. Probably shouldn't have done that. But as I said, you can go in people's houses. It looks like this guy, they spotted me from in their house. Now, let me get rid of these guys. And if you haven't noticed, these little diamonds above enemies, it has now changed. You can tell the difficulty of certain enemies and how hard they will be to beat by the diamonds over their head. It is the same with missions. They will, the more diamonds, the more difficult. I believe it's a 1 out of 5 or 6 or so is what I've counted so far. I don't quote me on that. Like I said, it's pretty early, but if it's any indication by what's over my username up in the upper left hand corner, it does show 5, so I'm assuming it's just out of 5. And like I've said before, open exploration in houses, which I'm still having a blast doing. Nutshot. Anyway, on to the story, if I can get there eventually. Now, one thing that has been added, and it is kind of a nice change, and I can see it causing a lot of difficulty for some people. Even if you escape guards, they will remember you. It pops up with a little notification pretty early on in the game. When you sneak away and everything, they will still remember you and recognize you if you got away from them. So you kind of have to watch out for that. And another thing they did add is last seen area or something like that. where it will show a little outline of yourself, the last spot that the guards could see you. And that is where they will go to investigate. Now, if you don't hide to where they're not going to find you in that area, then, you know, they're obviously going to find you and you're fucked, basically. So let's get this going. I haven't done this one yet myself, so hopefully this will be an interesting one. Do this real quick and then wrap up this first impressions video. Loading time could be a bit nicer, but as you can see, the character models are gorgeous.
Our plan. You're not an apprentice anymore, boy. So study your surroundings. Devise your own plan. I'm not here to hold your hand. No targets unreachable.
Out of the way. Move. Where the hell was Duchesneau? Oh.
If you can't find a weakness to exploit, make one.
You've secured the cathedral? Oui, monsieur. Good. Tell Sylvain I'll meet him inside.
Opportunities everywhere. It's on you to take it.
You! Get back here with my keys! Thieves!
And if all other plans fail, why not sacrifice yourself for the cause, your life for his? Before Altair, that was the Levantine approach.
You mean a dagger in broad daylight as I'm cut down where I stand?
Sends a powerful message.
I'll do it my way.
Whatever you think best, assassin.
Okay, so this, it seems, is kind of putting emphasis on a few, kind of a new mechanic that I'm really enjoying about this game as well. There are multiple ways to do the missions. I'm loving that. You don't have to just do it the way the developer intended. They have a couple different routes and pathways that you can take to fulfill your objective. You, of course, can just run in, you know, do whatever. Or you can do it stealthy, range. There are so many ways to get to your target. Now, let's see. You guys can laugh all you want, but I am terrible at Assassin's Creed. I've never been the best at this series. So let's see what I end up doing for this. Explore the area, create opportunities. There is a unique kill. One, I'm assuming, is Sivert, or however that's pronounced. 1 secret entrance, 10 entrances total, and 2 alarm bells. Alarm bells, for anyone who has played Black Flag, is not new. They're a bit of a pain in the ass, actually. Not a big fan of them. Alright, let's get down here. Oh shit, I said down. And that right there would be what I mentioned earlier with this series having problems throughout the series of attempting to do one thing and your assassin doing the opposite. I wanted to go down, he wanted to go up. So it was my fault for landing on that specific little area. Now, I want to find these alarm bells because I don't want them going off and people calling for help. Also, anyone who has seen, anyone who's seen Hunchback of Notre Dame or know their Notre Dame history or Gypsy history, bam. Hello, Gypsy. I can interact with this lady. How so? An odd-looking symbol. Yes, it is. Oh, you're interacting with the symbol, not with the Gypsy. Okay, I see now. Now, where are these alarms, and can I disable them? Screw it. I'll go this way. Alright, assassination. Man, it's still... I know I've mentioned this 3-4 times now, but I am still baffled at all these NPCs running around doing their own thing. It's... You know, from a technical perspective and for game design, that is just amazing. It's great. You know, this is this definitely makes me think next gen. You know, making cities feel more alive. With a series like this where it's about the atmosphere, the exploration, that's going to be a huge plus.
Or just a common cup purse. Get him!
Now, I don't know why I just assassinated you, but whatever. Oh, I think these are the thieves who have the keys. And yes, I know I have repeatedly used that animation, but I can't help it. I love it. Now, for the sake of showing the different type of animations that I mentioned in comment, I will switch to a new weapon for at least, here's another one I had purchased, the basket-hilted sword. Range, obviously not as good as my spear, but swords are a bit better with speed and parrying. Alright, so, shit. Okay. And done. Okay. Oh shit. Alright, come on, motherfuckers. So yeah, as you saw, there is no automatic kill now for doing a parry, which is fine by me. And I'm dead. Okay. I should take it seriously instead of just trying to show different animations. Alrighty. Just go ahead in. That's right, because I want to commit suicide and have all the guards kill me. No, this is Assassin's Creed, man, not COD. Though that is how I played Assassin's Creed 4. I was a big fan of the pistols and go in and shoot them all. Alright, so I still have the Notre Dame key. So, let's see. Alarm bell in this area. Yes, but I don't know where it is. So I'm just gonna kind of use this key and go in. And where do I go in now? I'm gonna assume from the front, but yeah. Alright, people, you guys all look like you're pissed and ready to riot. For France! At least that's what that flag is kind of saying. Oh, that's a little creepy. With the guards like right there, just head in my ass. Assassinations must be performed with a hidden blade. How do I equip hidden blade? Yes, I still haven't figured that one out. Alright, let me see. Gear loadout, weapons, one-handed. I do not know, but I know that I do want my Razorhead spear back. Sorry guys, but I love that weapon. Maybe I should equip pistols. American flintlock. America! I'm gonna use that because, you know why? America. American flintlock in France. Upgrade with 1,000 Creed points. Additional damage, 25%. So I do love that they're adding little RPG style elements to this game. That, as a big RPG guy, to me, that's a pretty big deal. You know, I'm pretty happy about that. And let's see. Okay, so firearm equipped. Oh, there's the bell.
Things have nothing better to do.
What's up, Broske? Oh, I am surrounded.
Keep on going.
Oh shit, these guys are gonna kill me.
You will.
Oh man, did they take out the... I don't seem to notice it anywhere. The ability to do human shield, which I abused very liberally in the Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. Oh goddamn. These guys are killing me. Yep. Too late. Okay. Nice little ragdoll death right there. So apparently I am very awful at this game, as I have already mentioned to you guys. So that should not be a surprise. Oh boy. Looks like I may just need to stealth my way in, because those guards do quite a bit of damage. I only have one defense upgrade. Yeah. Load times could be a bit nicer, but you know, I'm wondering if I can just kind of climb. Show sleep all these mofos. It looks like the firearms have been remapped for anyone transferring from the PlayStation 3 Assassin's Creed series, whereas in Assassin's Creed 3 and 4, triangle, I believe, was firearms. It is now L1. So, yeah, that's being changed. And why is there an exclamation point right there? Maybe that's the door. Confessional kill available. I gotta get in first, though. That's frustrating. I have a key, but where do I use it? Maybe a back door. Though I don't think cathedrals tend to have just a regular back door. I don't know what you guys are writing for. There's riots all over this city, though historically being accurate, considering this is, you know, revolutionary France. And before anyone says anything, no, this is not the same French Revolution as Les Mis. This is a completely different revolution. This was before that god-awful play. So, and I actually believe Sean or what have you even says something similar if you look in the encyclopedia, how this is not the same assassin, or not, I don't know why I was about to say Assassin's Creed. This is not the same French Revolution, so do not start looking for characters from the play. Also, I want to get him in the crowd here, so I'm not being cautious, but they did change Eagle Vision. It can no longer be abused. You cannot use it whenever you want. It does have a cooldown. Granted, it's about a 5 to 10 second cooldown. For example, when using it, it marks everyone, but then, once you're done using it, you have to wait for it to recharge, so you cannot just immediately use it again. Now, this isn't a very long, as you can see, cooldown, but it is significant enough to the point where you can't spam it, which is welcome. Knockout.
Christophe Bergeron et fils, chaudronniers et rétameurs sont là pour vous. Adressez-vous à nos garçons qui passent chaque semaine dans votre quartier. Venez voir. What are you doing?
Oh shit, no, they're coming for me.
I'll scrape what's left of you off my boots like yesterday's turds, you bastard! Traitor, die!
Cut your bell.
Stop them!
Okay, so that caused these two groups to start fighting each other, the guards and the Templars. Or, they specifically aren't Templars, but they're paid by the Templars. So I'm just gonna run it. Because why the hell not? You seem like to die.
One side.
Shit, well I'm about to die. Fuck. I'm out of energy. God damn. Well, that didn't work. Well, yeah, as you can see, not the best Assassin's Creed player here, but I only do the Assassin's Creed series because I do like history, so having a game based in history does appeal to me. Not like Assassin's Creed 2 that much, nor did I care for any of the Ezio trilogy. Oh, I was right, you come up. Mostly, and I'm going, just pointing it out, I wasn't interested too much into the Italian Renaissance. It was a boring point in history for me. Now, having 3 set in the US Revolution, that got me back into the series because that was a very interesting point in time for it, at least to me. And it was interesting to see how they would take this series in that direction with the introduction of firearms. I personally was a fan. I liked it, and I feel like it's changed the series for the better. Now, whether you agree with that or not is completely up to you. Now, let me see. I'm gonna climb up here. The attention to detail here is uncanny. This is great. Now, climb upwards. Wow, the detail on that stained glass is just great. Oh man. That is one thing Ubisoft does well, the amount of attention to detail. Alright, you will be happy that I give you your keys back, I assume.
Merci. Que Dieu vous bénisse.
Thank you. Alright, so I am now in the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Avez-vous une question à me poser?
God damn, that lighting, that stained glass, that is just... Oh man. Don't trigger any alarms. Shit. Kills from hiding spots. I am not gonna 100 sync this, I don't think. I generally don't. The only Assassin's Creed I have ever got the Platinum Trophy for was Liberation. So that should... yeah, must be performed with the Hidden Blade. There, that little outline right there would be last seen, as I mentioned earlier. That is the last place that guard had seen me. Okay, so maybe hidden blades are just automatic now for assassinating instead of being an equipable weapon. Now let's see. Is there no way to kind of whistle? I do not know. I know there were in previous games. Yep, looks like hidden blades are just kind of an automatic thing now. Which is kind of good, because honestly it shouldn't have been like an automatic thing. Hey, I could have opened this window the entire time. Damn, I'm gonna keep that open just in case I need a quick escape. No. Eagle vision, go. Alright, and also, unlike in Assassin's Creed 4, they will not permanently stay highlighted. Once your Eagle Vision is ready to be used again, they fade. Which I think is welcome. for, as I said, for the sake of difficulty. And there goes. Oh wait, that wasn't an alarm technically, so yeah, there's that. That's good. 10 florins, I think? No, that was Italy, I think. Francs. That's what it was. They were francs in France. Original. Now, can I go over? No, I can't. Damn. Okay, then. Ah, shit. I can assassinate him if I can... Oh, I don't have air assassinate unlocked, I don't think. Where am I? God damn. Oh, I'm hiding.
Bloody ghost.
This is getting absurd.
Smoke bomb. Because... Fuck, that's like a... Or smoke bomb. Because I'm a sheep. Poke. Die. God, that's satisfying still. Oh, I'm all out of smoke bombs, okay. I'm over here spamming the R1 button. I am finding those oh so satisfying. Finally, motherfucker, I got you.
Wait here. See that we're not disturbed.
Sévère.
Monsieur Latouche, I'm here to see the King of Beggars.
Come with me.
The intrigues of rats! Pompous fool, if I could lay my hands on him.
Well, what's so important you had to pull me away from my daughters?
You all right, monsieur? Too much of the King's champagne?
Sévère, come away!
Well, that was interesting. Oops, wrong button. Alright. Now I just need to get out. No alarms. No. Technically. Well, not. Yeah, there's two. Does that count as a hiding spot kill? No, it doesn't. Shit. Maybe I can still 100% this. Nope. I don't even care anymore. I just want to get this thing over with. Run! Run! Medicine. Why did I just pick a fight with all these guys? Run. Come anonymous. Not a problem. Yeah. Free run. A little bit of a frame rate drop there, but yeah. I have heard common complaints about frame rate drops. If you are not a big 30 frames per second and 60 frames is the best, and if you honestly don't care about that shit, then that's not even going to be a problem. I personally don't. I just happened to notice that dip and felt like pointing it out for those of you who do. There are occasional frame rate dips which Ubisoft has mentioned on their official blog sites and their Facebook page. Basically every outlet of Ubisoft has announced they do know about it. They hear about all the glitches and the frame rate drop issues from the audience, and they are working on it. There is a patch. They've been releasing notes throughout the day on their progress with it, and they are just letting us know it is coming. And so that shouldn't be too much of an issue, you know, for
Deacon, do you read? What the hell is that?
I'm here, Bishop. That's a server sweep. Observer's looking for you.
I don't know what's going on.
Close.
Damn it. Can you open a server bridge?
Hey, come on, it's me. Already on it. Couple of seconds.
Initiate. We're opening a server bridge. Find the portal and pass through before the sweep finds you.
Got it. Go.
Do you see it? They're hard to miss. Jumping from one Helix server to another should buy you a few more hours. If it doesn't, we're screwed.
Well, we're not screwed. It's your initiate that gets the brunt.
Now
Deacon, you're not helping.
So these are the Animus glitch things. It's kind of a new thing, you know, the present day gameplay. It's in every Assassin's Creed, as you all know.
There it is.
This
Go.
is the Unity ones, time travel, which I believe takes you to World War II France after it has been taken by the Nazi Germany. So it's a pretty big change in gameplay. It's kind of a refreshing take, but also, in my opinion, shows why I don't want a World War II Assassin's Creed. At least not a full-blown Assassin's Creed game in World War II. I don't mind these tiny little snippets of it, but I do not want a full-blown one, for the reason that I feel it won't feel like Assassin's Creed. It will feel like Call of Duty, basically.
The signal's holding. Good. You're waiting outside the main simulation now. This will throw Abstergo off your trail for a while, but you'll also run into a lot of incomplete and corrupted code. Which probably explains why the people here aren't quite here.
There we go.
Looks like the late 1800s. Now this is a Paris I wouldn't mind visiting. Maybe another time. Right now, you need to get to the
Now,
exit
obviously,
portal.
this one specifically
I can't see
isn't
a path
World
through,
War
though.
II,
See if you
but
can find a route
that's
underground.
one of the, you know, time periods it will go through. But yeah, there are different little
The Belle Epoque looks a
time
lot cleaner than
jump
revolutionary
type
Paris,
things
don't you think?
where
Fewer beheadings too, I bet.
it's just kind of a glitch in as you saw for
The metro station ahead.
in the Animus, or at least the hacking into the Animus type thing. You'd have to at least know a little bit of the first few bits of the story to get that bit, but yeah, I believe this is the exit she's talking about. Metro network exit. Yeah, these modern set pieces, or more modern, I should say, I just don't find it appealing it's just, it doesn't feel very Assassin's Creed-y, because it's too close to what we have today, and this being a historical action-adventure series, I'd like to keep it in history. Though I am not of users who would want a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed, which I've also heard a lot of people say that they would want. I do not. It would be boring. Not because the time period is boring. It is actually a very interesting period in time, but it has been overdone to death. There are so many anime and different TV shows and games and novels and books about that time period that it's nothing new. It's nothing exciting. These Assassin's Creed game time periods are in periods that aren't featured a lot, and I like that. And, oh shit, watch your step. Oh shit, watch your step. Now run, mofo, run. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm running. Oh shit, I'm dead. Damn. That was close. Good job, Arno. Also, I love that he has blue robes instead of the typical white. It's a nice little change. And here we go, back in.
There you are. And you found the exit. Good. It's an unstable
now,
vortex
for
of energy,
those of
so
you
there's
who
no
aren't
telling how it will disrupt the simulation.
too into history and may not know this, that would be the Eiffel Tower, or not Eiffel Tower, what the fuck am I smoking? That is the Statue of Liberty, which was a gift from France to the United States after we were, you know, had our revolution and whatnot. They built it for us as a gift of, like a, alliance, I guess you could say, since we're allies and whatnot. Yeah, it was built in Paris, or not Paris specifically. I think it was Paris. I'm not sure. I know it was in France though. They built it, and then they ended up actually having to ship it to us in different pieces because it was just too goddamn big. To get up there. How the hell am I gonna get up there? Yeah, let's try it this way.
It looks like you'll have to climb Lady Liberty. She must have bled through from another time period. The French should have shipped her off to the States by now.
So these little time paradox like warping type there, I like that. It's interesting, and it's a different, I guess, modern day portion than what we have usually seen, which I'm quite frankly sick of. I'm tired of going through Abstergo Laboratories, and thank God we are done with Desmond. Because Desmond, you were a boring fuck, and I am not upset that you are gone. Though still in the plot, though only in DNA. So there you have it. That is my first impression of Assassin's Creed Unity, which is, I want to give this game 4 out of 5. Just so far. Now, granted, this is not my final opinion. This is only my opinion through the portion I am at, which is only in sequence 3. My opinion may or may not change as I play more of this game. You know, I still need to dabble into the co-op. I need to eventually get to, you know, the multiplayer, which I'm not a fan of in the Assassin's Creed series. So that, I'm not even going to include the PvP into my impression of this game because I know I'm not going to like it. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad segment. So I may or may not just update you guys on a later video about what I think of this game. At the end of it, it may change drastically. I know it did with, for example, with Black Flag. At first, I really did not care for Black Flag, and then towards the end, I really liked it. So, there you have it. I hope you had a good time watching. I will catch you all another time. And adios.